Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Just tons of news in the world of the NFL right now. Saquon Barkley is leaving New York for the Philadelphia Eagles. Tony Pollard's leaving Dallas for Tennessee. None of that really affects the Saints a whole heck of a lot. However, this does. Kirk Cousins is headed to Atlanta to be the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. And this feels very, very similar to last year with the Saints, where if you look at that Falcons roster, it's a pretty good defense. And they've got a lot of playmakers on the offensive side of things. Used a first-round pick on Drake London. Used a first-round pick on Kyle Pitts. Bijan Robinson is a heck of an athlete. Got a pretty solid offensive line. But you had terrible quarterback play. So you sign a veteran and bring him in. That's exactly the situation the Saints were in. Last year, the Saints, we felt like were about a 500 team, had a pretty good defense, had some really good playmakers on the outside, Olave, Kamara, Michael Thomas. And you just plug in Derek Carr and you hope that elevates everything. They're very, very, very similar situations. And look, me personally, entering last NFL season, I said, if you're a Saints fan, you should be pretty excited about this. I think the Saints are the best team in their division. I think they've put a functioning quarterback into an offense that should be much better. The defense is pretty good, and the division stinks. They should be fine. And they weren't. And as I sit here and look at Atlanta and look at what they've got and bringing in Kirk Cousins, I think they're my favorite to win the division. Now, Baker Mayfield just re-signed with Tampa, and the Saints have a new offense they're going to put in. And maybe Kirk Cousins is just a product of having the best receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson. Had some really good years of Adam Thielen. And he's not going to have quite the same production in Minnesota, plus he's older. I don't know. I feel like this makes Atlanta the favorite. I'm way down on Carolina, as is everyone, I think. I don't trust the Tampa. I think that was smoke and mirrors for a year in a bad division. And I'm iffy on the Saints, who had the easiest schedule you could possibly drum up and couldn't go 500. I just don't know if you're going to fix that with a new offense and a tougher schedule. So to me, I think the Saints are not the favorite in the NFC South. I believe that this makes Atlanta the favorite. The other news in Saints camp today was contract extension for Demario Davis. And this is just very, very Saints. We talked about this with Tyron Matthew last week, and now we'll talk about it with Demario Davis this week. The Saints have a lot of old, expensive players. And the way that they're trying to mitigate that is to make them get older and older as Saints for cheaper. You could have been done with Demario Davis after next year. Instead, you extend the contract so that you can spread the money out because your salary cap is in a bad spot. It's not an unmanageable spot. The Saints manage it every year. I'm not suggesting they'll fail to be in compliance. I'm suggesting these fixes don't work. Now, Demario Davis is playing at a higher level than Tyron Matthew. He is still a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker at 35 years old. What is he pushing 37? I don't know, but we're going to find out, and he'll be on the Saints' payroll. The Saints desperately need to get younger and cheaper, and they continue to extend contracts of older players who are not the players they once were because they have to for money. I was a little iffy on the Tyron Matthew signing, and I'm a little iffy on this re-signing. An extension. I shouldn't say re-signing. Extension. It's just not the way the Saints need to go. They need to be younger. Tyron Matthew is not the player he was 7 years ago. Demario Davis is close, but he's not quite the player he was, and at some point, Father Time will win. He is undefeated. He got to Tom Brady. He got to Peyton Manning. Those were longer fights. I think he's gotten to Tiger Woods. He got to Roger Federer. Some of these guys tempt fate, Albert Pujols, but eventually Father Time's going to win. The Saints just have to hope for Demario Davis. It's in 2 years instead of 1. But this is the way that they continue to operate. Lengthen contracts, spread the money out so we can dip down. I love hearing about some of these teams in the NFL. Now, granted, a lot of times they're bad teams, but like they have $80 million of cap space to work with. The Saints are always the exact opposite. Well, they're $72 million over, and so you convert some into roster bonuses. They've got some guys like Ramczyk, and some of these guys have language built in their contract. They don't even get a say in the negotiation. If the Saints want to convert some of this, they can do it without asking. And that's what they'll have to do. And I don't mind cutting guys big checks for signing bonuses, but what I don't like is adding years onto contracts of aging players. Because you're going to continue to have to pay these guys sums of money that they can't play to earn. I'm a little nervous about that. I don't love sitting here in March when optimism should be very, very high and talking about two negative thoughts. One, that the Falcons got better and that I don't love the Saints adding years onto a 35-year-old linebacker's contract. But that's what we've got here. So we'll see. It is the wild, wild west in the NFL right now. If you're on Twitter, you can see these stories are breaking more quickly than I can even express them to you. But for the ones that do impact the New Orleans Saints, Demario Davis adds a year to his contract, and Kirk Cousins, now the signal caller for the Atlanta Falcons. You like that? We'll see Kirk Cousins a couple times a year in Atlanta for the next 4 years, as that's the contract he signed. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.